What's up, guys? Welcome to Bulls 101. My name is Chris Amundsen. I'm here as always with my main man, Mr. Larry Golden, on a Sunday evening. Sorry about the delay, guys. I know we didn't have our show last week, and I was a little out of it yesterday, and couldn't get it done. So apologies for the delay, but I figured it would be better anyway to have one after the Lakers game tonight. We haven't had games for a little while. Bulls having 10 guys out in COVID protocol. So, yeah, we're back. We're ready to talk some ball. Laro, my man, how you doing? How have you been? I feel like it's been forever since I even talked to you about basketball. Weird feeling.
Man, I'm doing good, man. Been coaching my basketball team and working. So and obviously still watching some Bulls, and they've been off for a little bit. So tonight was actually, really great to see them back in action again. Um but yeah, it's been fun, man. It's been fun. And I'm ready to start talking some ball again with you, man. Like you said, it's been too long, man. It's been too long.
Well, the COVID situation hasn't really improved, to be honest, since we last
Yeah.
talked. Obviously, 10 Bulls ended up going into protocols. Stanley Johnson, who was signed on a 10-day, showed up to the team and immediately got put in protocols, and his 10 days is going to be up, I think, without ever having touched basketball for the Bulls. So really sad. Alphonso McKinney is still here. He's played 2 games now. 2 games?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he played against the Heat and then this game. So he's had some moments. We got Kobe, Javante back, DeMar back. And we'll get into DeMar because, as the title of the episode says, he's just been DeMarvelous DeRozan this whole season, and this game especially at 38 points, and just came up clutch all fourth quarter as per usual. So the Bulls beat the Lakers. I think it was 115-110 was the final score, and are now 18-10 on the season. And to be honest, I think they'd probably be 20-8 if they were healthy those last 2 games, because the games versus the Cavs and the Heat, they just had nobody and got blown out both games. So, yeah, what did you think about? Well, now the whole league is kind of going through it right now. I mean, a lot of teams. We just had 3 more games get canceled for today, and then a couple more for I think Monday and Tuesday. League's trying to avoid shutdowns, but I don't know what else they can do. I know there was some rumor going around that they were thinking about having guys like basically treating COVID a COVID positive test as like the flu, where
Mm-hmm.
if you were asymptomatic, you
Yeah.
could play, and if you had COVID like symptoms, you wouldn't play. But obviously, we haven't heard anything since then. But what have you thought about the whole situation going down with COVID, and especially with the Christmas season coming up, and those big money making Christmas games are coming up?
Well, it's tough, obviously. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to see these guys go down with COVID, test positive for it. One, especially for, the Bulls, like I believe all of the team, most of the team, not if not all of the team is vaccinated. So it's tough, you know what I mean? And if you go league wide, like I said, you don't want to see anybody, test positive. You would like to see these guys stay healthy, stay on the court, play the game they love to play, that they're getting paid for, and not, get any have any problems with that. But at the same time, too, I shouldn't say at the same time, but sometimes when I think about it, um, like it's like, man, the Bulls are a good team, and they're playing some of the best ball they've played in a long time, and it's like, of course, the breakout happens this season. um, it just, but then sometimes I'm like, am I selfish for thinking that way? But it's like,
I have the
you
same
know,
thought. So first, if you're selfish, I'm right in the same boat with you. I was like, come on now, like the Bulls had this terrible schedule. They played all these playoff teams in a row, and then right as they get into like the cruising part of their December schedule, like, hey, they've got like 3 games in the next 10 days. It's really nice. Like they can regroup, get healthier, play some easier teams, and then it's like, and half your team's gone, and like more than half your team, like 10 guys were in COVID protocols at the same time. Well, that's wild stuff. Wild stuff.
it's
And Derek
crazy.
Owens is right here in the comments. Adam Silver is going to make those Christmas games happen, even if he's got to have G Leagues. Hey, the G League's going through it too. Our podcast Palooza got canceled
Yeah.
and rescheduled to February because the Windy City Bulls couldn't even play, couldn't put enough players on the court to have a game. So it ain't just the Bulls. Yeah, and then hey, King Pookie Nation Alvarez bought a DeRozan jersey with the patch. I'm thinking, man, I got so many jerseys to get this year. I'm not a jersey guy, but I gotta get some jerseys. But have you gotten any jerseys this year, or you got anything on your Christmas list for it?
I have not gotten any jerseys. I
Slacking.
kind of, here's the deal, man. Like, I don't think I look good in basketball jerseys like anymore. So it's like I kind of stay away from them. I do the jersey thing, or get a jacket, a hoodie, hat. But jerseys, I don't think I look good anymore with them on. So I'm like, I kind of leave them alone now.
See, I feel that way. Me and hats don't get along. I don't. For some reason, hats just don't fit me the right way or fit my head. It just look really weird every time I wear a hat. And I don't know if anyone else thinks that about me wearing hats, but when I'm wearing a hat, I'm like self-conscious about it. I'm like, I look like a doofus right now. So I feel you, but I think I don't really wear the jerseys that much. Just kind of like have them.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man. Let's talk about. I mean, I don't think we talked since we had the games against the Heat and the Cavs. But was there anything you wanted to talk about from those games? I just thought they were kind of throwaways for the most part, as far as really evaluating what we wanted to see from the Bulls. Other than, I thought the defense obviously was poor, and the reason why is because you got these new guys in that, the Bulls rely so much on helping the helper and being on a string defensively, especially with their perimeter guys and their backside rotations. And there just wasn't a whole lot of that. With brand new guys in, or you got, TBJ playing 40 minutes, McKinney playing 40 minutes off, just guys who are not usually here playing big minutes, and obviously Caruso being out with the hamstring didn't help. Yeah. But anything you wanted to take out of those games, or should we just talk about this Lakers game?
I think I truly believe that the Cleveland game is tough because the Evan Mobley and Jared Allen have really just been unreal, and then obviously Darius Garland has really taken a step. So the Cleveland game, that's kind of the Heat game. I kind of felt like I feel like Vooch tonight was kind of like, for me, a step in the right direction. Because he just looked a lot more confident taking his shots. There wasn't any hesitation. Like when he was going to shoot it, it was going up. Didn't matter. So I liked what I saw from tonight with his shot. But the Miami Heat game, I just thought that was a little bit of like Vooch just being in a slump. And if he was like in his usual self, I feel like we could have won that game. The Bulls could have pulled that game out. So I think it also, those games kind of showed like, DeMar is a big piece of this team, huge piece of this team. And, Vooch needs to be, the second best player if DeMar's not going to be there. And if he's not, then we're just gonna have a tough time without DeMar. So tonight was kind of, like I said, a step in the right direction. Vooch looked like himself tonight. Like he doesn't have to, give you 30 and 13 rebounds every single night. Like it'd be nice if that happens every now and then, but like tonight, 19, 13 rebounds, couple I feel like he had a bunch of hockey assists tonight. Being able to draw help and being able to shoot the ball out and get that ball popping around the perimeter and making the team offensively better. Like that's what he has to do. That's all he has to do. And man, I'm totally fine with the type of game he had tonight.
Well, let's talk about this, because after the Miami game, especially, he got a lot of flack on Twitter, and a lot of people were trying to rehash the whole trade that brought him here and whether it was worth it. And I know you and I were both on board with the trade in theory, or at least in like, I always said, if you're going to trade Wendell Carter, who I thought was a good player, he was not a superstar. He may never be an all-star, but he was a very solid player who was only 22 and had some injuries. So I thought, there's no reason to move him unless you're going to get a long-term upgrade or a significant upgrade at that position, that's going to help take the Bulls somewhere in the near future when Zach's in his prime.
Yeah.
Thus, the Vooch trade made sense in that context because he was a big upgrade at the position offensively, and an all-star, been all-star for 2 seasons, and what we were giving up was Carter and then 2 first-round picks, which if we met our goals wouldn't be super high, right? I mean, they wouldn't be lottery picks. Obviously, the first one ended up being a lottery pick, and Franz Wagner was selected, and he's having a great rookie campaign. Looks really, really nice out there. And so I think, and Wendell's having a great season so far. And it's, I mentioned on Twitter today, he isn't the only good defender on the floor finally, which he was whenever he played with the Bulls. And he actually has people setting him up on offense a little bit more. And he's taking more threes with confidence, which he started doing last year. He shot 36% last year. But I just wanted to see if you had changed your mind on the trade. I thought the trade made sense at the time. The cost was high, but I thought it was still not outrageous. And it made sense with the context of the timeline. Now, there was always the chance that it wasn't going to work out. And I mean, that's the risk you take with those kinds of moves.
Yeah.
And if it didn't work out and we weren't, a very, very competitive playoff team the next 2 years, it probably wasn't worth the assets it took to get Vooch.
Yeah.
But I think where we are right now and what Vooch can provide to this team this year and next year, I still think is more valuable than what Carter and those picks could provide the next 2 years. Even if I could tell you, so far this season, Wendell and Wagner have obviously had better seasons than Vooch up to this point. I still think Vooch has a lot higher of a gear he can get to help us get where we want to go in the playoffs. But what say you on that?
Yeah, no, it was 2 things for me with the trade, right? When it happened, I thought that one, it was good for Wendell. I know he was hurt that he got traded because obviously he wanted it to work out here. Yeah. But I thought it was good for him because I think he needed a change of scenery. I think he needed to really get away from, fans calling him soft and, it was just a lot going on.
It's just trash, man. Fans got to stop doing that stuff. But I've already gone on parades about that one.
And players hear that, as much as they say, I'm not listening to that, and they hear it. They hear it. They see it on Instagram. They see it on Twitter. And after a while, it can get to you. And I just kind of felt like it was a good time for him to get away. I thought that it ended up being a great situation because you get a great players coach and Coach Mosley. You got, Jalen Suggs, who started out the season pretty bad this season, which because again, I don't think he's going to be a lead guard. I think he's more of like a Lonzo Ball type role guy where he's an off ball player, connector, can knock down the three, things like that. He can still pass the ball. He's a smart passer, but in terms of breaking down the defense off the dribble, it seems like that's just not going to be his deal. But so when they get Markelle back, who can do that, I think it'll make him even better for him. Now you get Franz.
Cole Anthony looking pretty good too.
Yeah, Cole, man. Cole's been playing out of his mind. So again, I feel like this is a perfect situation for him. Miami and Orlando. Because you got guys kind of in the same mold as him. You got young guys. You got a guy in Markelle who's trying to prove himself. You got a guy in Franz who's playing out of his mind and young. Wendell's still young, and I just kind of feel like it's a good group for him to be with, where they can kind of grow together and not have the expectations of playoffs right now. If he were to stay here with Zach here, there's a lot of pressure. He would have to play well in order for Zach to want to stay, and there's just a bunch of stuff that he would have to deal with. And then also, secondly, regular season Vooch is a big deal because obviously, when he's on, he's 2010 all day. But in the playoffs, I kind of feel like he's the right type of big you want in the playoffs, where inside out, you could throw dip, he could dump the ball to him in the post. He's going to demand a double team. If you don't, most likely when he's on, it's going to be a basket. He makes the right play, right pass out of the post. He can make the mid-range jump shot. You can make the three-point shot. So like he's more of a threat. And even if you look at the games that he's had bad shooting games, teams still send help, in the post. Teams still show him attention when he's wide open. And I think when you want to get worried is when teams stop doing that. That's when you want to get worried. But as long as teams are still like worrying about his shot, then eventually you just it's gonna come. And like tonight, man, like 19-13, that's fine. So for me, Vooch, I feel like this is a good situation, playoff wise. And with with Zach, man, like that's the biggest thing. I think people lose sight of that. Like that, it was all about like making the move to prove to Zach, like, yo, we want to win, and we're gonna make moves to show you that we want to win. And I think it's working, man. And it led to DeMar coming too. So I mean, I feel like the trade worked out, man.
I couldn't agree more. It's worked out. It's still been worth it, I think, at this point. And I don't know. I'm not like a kick it guy when he's down kind of person. I just like I'm not going to judge Vooch on what's clearly been a shooting slump. And as you mentioned, teams are still playing him the same way they've always played him. He's still playing the same way he's always played. I mean, he's obviously had to make some adjustments offensively to make room for DeMar. But he's still getting, I think he's getting easier shots. Billy mentioned he might not be catching them in the same rhythm as before. And that's been something that Billy's tried to make sure that they're doing is making sure, it's the rhythm and the confidence is a big thing when you're a shooter. And so we'll see what happens, but glad to see he had a good game tonight, and I hope that continues because we need him. We need him to be there. I just wanted to mention real quick. Currently, the top 4 teams in the Eastern Conference are the Nets, the Bulls, the Cavaliers, and the Bucks. So 3 of the Central Division are in the top 4. They all have home court advantage right now, and the Cavs are looking real strong. I know we got blown out by them, as you mentioned. Mobley's having an incredible defensive season. He's everywhere. Jared Allen has had an all-star caliber season. Darius Garland's had an all-star caliber season. Lowry at the 3 is working for them because of the defensive prowess and versatility of their 2 other bigs. It's working well because guess what? They're playing Lowry like a shooting guard, a small forward, like we've always said he plays like, and it's working out because the size helps. Just make it difficult for people to get into the paint and take shots from there. So it's been really fun to kind of watch the Cavs.
The
really turned around.
Yeah, man, like the Cavs have definitely, as much as, I remember in the summer, Kobe Altman was getting it, man. Like he was really getting it. And the dude is just, he's looked like a genius, man. This team has looked damn good. Isaac Okoro being the perimeter defender he is, you got to deal with Isaac Okoro, point of attack. Then you got to go, then you got to deal with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. It's just like, that's a fun team right now, man. I never thought that I would want to watch a Cavaliers game, and now I find myself watching Cavaliers games.
They're a good team. They're just straight up a good team, and I think they are the biggest surprise of the entire season for me. Like I thought the Bulls would be good. And I thought they'd surprise a lot of people, and they have. But I never thought the Cavaliers had a chance to even make the play-in. And not only are they making the play-in so far, that they have home court advantage right now in the East, and they've got the best point differential in the East right now. So they've been good, and Sexton's out for the entire year. So I don't know. Maybe they can trade that contract for something else and add a little more scoring punch off the bench. They're going to be a real problem. So exciting time for the Eastern Conference, which has been a bloodbath so far all year. And it's been a crazy year so far. And the Bulls, they've had their share of hilarity, but they've been doing really well. So let's talk about this game tonight against the Lakers, because it was back and forth. There was, I know we talked before we started the broadcast about the Lakers' defensive scheme and their plan coming into tonight and how it works. So I want to see, if you could describe what you thought Fizdale did well with the Lakers plan to kind of keep us contained or with our help defense.
So with the Lakers in that game, I just kind of felt like they began the game kind of like straight up, but after a while, because DeMar at the beginning of the game, he wasn't hitting his shots like that. He was just getting to the free throw line. He was doing a really good job of drawing fouls, getting to the free throw line. I mean, at the end of the first half, I believe he had 8 free throw attempts already. He ended the game with 17 attempts, made 16 of them. So I mean, the guy, man. But after a while, they kind of started to show to DeMar, and just the ball was dumped. He would dump the ball to Vooch, and Vooch would make the right decision. Either he would take his little quick little floater, or he would shoot it out. And the Bulls were doing a good job of moving the ball and attacking closeouts. I just kind of felt like at the beginning of the game, guys were missing shots. Lonzo, I believe, started out 0-3 from 3, and then he kind of got hot a little bit. But like for the most part, I felt like guys were missing some shots. Second half, I felt like the Lakers just kind of fought and clawed the whole game, but I felt like they just did a good job of fighting. And then in the third quarter, LeBron kind of tried to put his imprint on the game, and it wasn't the same old LeBron deal. I mean, he's not this. I don't want to be that guy, but he just doesn't have that same umph to his game anymore. So like the Bulls were able to kind of stick around. And I thought the Lakers did a good job of running different types of sets where they'll run a horn set, and a lot of teams like to roll right into like Chicago action, dribble handoff, pin down, and a dribble handoff action. But what they were doing was like just kind of emptying the side out to where if they do a dribble handoff, like the guy that's rolling doesn't have to worry about help coming from anywhere. And if the help does come, it has to come from he can see where the help is coming from. So it's like they were just doing a really good job of like moving who would be the low man and help kind of out of the way, so they can run kind of like 2-man game and dump it off to guys for easy layups or close to easy layups. So I just thought Fizdale was doing a good job of kind of moving the help out of the way.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, because the Bulls rely on their help, especially their guys down on the weak side, the low man. They rely on that a lot because of how aggressive they play Vooch in the scheme. They kind of play him a little bit higher up in the drop coverage, and they've got the guys sagging in on either side, ready to help. And that's basically been our kind of makeshift rim protection throughout the year, is having guys like Javonte and Derek Jones coming in from weak side to try and pin it against the glass when someone gets in the paint. So, you were mentioning Fizdale was able to kind of put those guys in action, so they weren't available to help as easily, and that kind of helped the Lakers. And they've got a guy with like Russ, obviously, who can still get downhill pretty quickly and get to the basket. And so that combination allowed the Lakers to, penetrate into the paint and kick out for shots. Carmelo Anthony obviously is having a good season, just doing what Carmelo Anthony does and shooting. He had back-to-back threes in the fourth that looked like it was going to, the Bulls were kind of pulling ahead a little bit. I think it was like 98-93 or something like that. And then the Lakers hit those back-to-back threes and we're up, and it was looking pretty dire for a minute there. And then, DeMar came through. So I know you had some clips. I didn't get a chance to watch the whole game, unfortunately. I kind of in and out with family stuff. But I know you had some clips you wanted to show throughout this game of little things that you saw. So let me know when you're ready, and we'll bring up a clip and break down some of these plays.
Yeah, so like I was telling you before the game, where I usually go to get my clips, they didn't have it fully uploaded, the full game. So I was able to get maybe six of them. So I'm ready whenever you are.
As you know, those 6 clips will last us 2 hours somehow.
You're right. You're right about that.
We milk them clips, baby. So I'm ready to go. Let's dive right in. It's been too long. I can't wait to see some film here. So pull it up and I'll get on the screen.
Let's see. So the first one, I kind of wanted to talk about Tony a little bit, mostly because I just kind of feel like if he wants to really be a big part of this bench, he has to be consistent. He has to be relied upon to make baskets when he's around the basket. And this play kind of popped out to me because I just kind of felt like uh, he's got to make his attempt. Like the first half, Lonzo was doing a really good job of making the right read, consistently making the right read when he got in there. And right here, he attacks Carmelo off the dribble, and Russ comes to give help, right? So he kind of just lobs it over the top to Tony. And so Tony's got to convert these, right? Like for me, like I never thought, like coming in, there were a couple opinions about, Tony being an athletic, kind of go get it guy. And I never got that from him. I thought he was strong. I thought he, got up. I just thought he was like a strong, big that can dunk it, but he's not like some high flying big. So
yeah, he's not balanced. He's not catching lobs very often.
yeah. So it's like in this play, I would have rather him catch it with two, come down, and then just explode back up and finish. But with this play here, he kind of tries to tip it in on the lob, and he has to finish this. Like because what it does is if he doesn't finish that, I mean, like the Lakers got on the break. You have to finish your layups. And like I said, if Tony wants to be a big part of this bench, he has to finish these types of plays here. And so that was a play that stuck out to me because it'd be nice if Tony could play big time minutes at the 5, so Vooch can have some more time on the bench and rest. But if he can't finish these types of plays, I don't know how you can play him as much.
Yeah, I agree with you. Let me add it again. Can you full screen it when you get a chance here? There we go. It adds like a little bit, but I wonder. Yeah, actually, Lonzo. I gotta say, Lonzo at the start of the year would get into the paint and just try and take that little pull up.
Yep.
Kind of like at the nail, he'd do this little pull up jumper. He's never been super great at getting to the rim and finishing, but that play was nice because he splits the double right there and draws 3-4 guys. You see, I think number 4. Who's number 4 on this?
Rondo.
Okay, sorry, I can barely see him. But, even draws Rondo a little bit, which gives Tony Bradley that chance for a dunk. And if that was Derek Jones, that would have been a dunk.
Yeah.
You see Derek Jones on the wing there, but yeah, I mean that's the downside of Tony Bradley versus a guy like, I don't know, if you had like a guy like Thomas Bryant or someone who can shoot a little bit, or for example, what I've been saying is get a guy like a Larry Nance or Harrison Barnes, a 4 that can play 5 and also can pop out. It gives your offense a little bit more spacing, a little bit more optionality to finish those plays, because then you give a guy like Derek Jones Jr. the chance to be that leaper and finish that play. So, but you got both of them on the floor. It's a little bit tougher to kind of find that to find those opportunities.
And that's a great point you brought up. Like when you have DJJ on the floor and TBJ, big TBJ, like you have to finish those now because teams are not, like Derek has hit some threes this season, but like teams are going to allow him to be open, so the paint's going to be kind of shrunk. So like when he has that opportunity where all he has to worry about is Rondo from the back here, you got to finish those. You just have to. So yeah.
Well, and it's like you were talking about with Vooch, whether or not he's making shots, defenses are guarding him as if he's a very good shooter, and as long as that continues, that's a good sign. It's when they get comfortable just sagging off him that becomes the real problem with your offense, because it removes the space. That lack of gravity hurts the rest of your offense's ability to cut and screen and find those open spaces. So like with Derek Jones, he can make that shot, okay. He's been shooting it okay this year, but teams don't respect him. Teams are going to let him take that shot all day, and so that's where you have to, find those combinations as a coach to maximize what DJ can do on the floor. And what DJ can do on the floor really, really well on offense is kind of be a center, right? He kind of play that center role, play in the dunker spot, get those back cuts for lobs, for dunks. That's where he's good. And that both of those things require space. And if you don't have that space, it makes his job a lot harder. It removes those opportunities for him to do that. And so if you're going to play both of them on the floor with a guy like Tony, he's got to finish that. So I know, Anyways, I'm spending too much time explaining it, but it is, a concept that's important.
And I don't want to do Tony too bad. So like this is like, and it just goes, opposite of the last player show. Like he just has to be more consistent with this here. So they just, it's none too extravagant of a sideline out of bounds play. They just get it into DeMar and then a step up ball screen from TBJ. And I thought they did a good job of attacking Melo when he was a small ball five. They probably could have did it more. But DeMar does a good job getting the ball to TBJ. And I mean, LeBron's not going to worry about DJJ over here. He's still a smart defender. That's not going to leave. His brain is still processing the way it needs to be, and he's not going to worry about DJJ over here. So he's there for the help. And I thought TBJ just did a good job of finishing through contact. And that's a tougher layup than the last one. So it's like, he just has to find that like consistency around the basket.
Yeah. You calling him TBJ is throwing me for a loop, though. We gotta find something else. It's just gotta be Tony or something. I don't know. You can't have two guys on the team called TBJ. It's just it's not gonna work for me. I'm too simple minded for that.
So Tony just has to, just find some more consistency around the basket, especially, he's out there. He's probably the biggest guy besides LeBron on the floor. So like he's just gotta do this more when he's on the floor. Have that pressure, have that he has to. The reason why he has to be consistent is if he's gonna be on the floor with these guys here on that lineup, he has to be relied upon when he has an opportunity to score in the paint. He has to do it, because those are the higher percentage shots. So he just has to put those in.
Yeah. As simple as that. I mean, and one of the weaknesses of this team is a lack of shooting off the bench.
Yeah.
And, now that we got guys out with COVID protocols like Zach, I mean, this would be easier. These kind of lineups wouldn't happen as much with Zach on the floor. But without him, I mean, that weakness is amplified a little bit. So something to think about as we go through the season and up to the trade deadline of ways we can try and find some more spacing. Matt Thomas hasn't really done anything to that effect. And, Troy Brown Jr. has done, I think he's done fairly good in his minutes for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not super respected as a shooter either. So interesting wrinkle that, I know AK is going to be looking at this film and trying to figure out what he can do to make this team better. So let's talk about Kobe then. I know you got a Kobe clip. He had another rough night of shooting, I would say. Let me see what his final actually.
2 for 7, I think.
2 for 7. Is that what it is? He had 2 for 7, 0 of 4 from 3, 5 points, 2 assists, 1 rebound in 24 minutes, which that's a tough night. He had a really nice dunk in transition.
Yeah.
But other than that, his shot is definitely been hit and miss. And that's something that I know we talked about when he came back. I said we should expect his shot to be very, very inconsistent on a night-to-night basis. And it has been. Because he didn't play basketball for 6 months. And he came off a shoulder injury. So
it's funny that dunk. I think that's what happens when LeBron's right behind you. Like You either go up strong or he's gonna beat it off the glass. So
Yep.
Kobe chose to go strong. So I respect to that, brother. But so with this clip, it's a when people see this clip and they're like, okay, but like for me, this clip shows like Kobe starting to see the whole floor. And if he can, he's not going to be a lead ball handler on this team. I mean, there's Zach, there's DeMar, there's Lonzo. So he's probably hierarchy. He's probably maybe the fourth, guy that's going to handle the ball when he's on the floor, with all those guys. But when he does have the ball, maybe he's on the second side action. Like a lot of times teams if he's on the floor with Vooch, they may overload the side that he's on. And you got to be able to see the whole floor. Maybe there's a skip pass there. Maybe you got to be able to read the low man. You got to be able to read the defense and see where that next pass can be. And I thought this play here from Kobe just kind of shows a little bit of growth in him seeing the floor. And I thought there was another pass he made later in the game I couldn't get to. There's another pass he made driving baseline. He just threw a beautiful pass to the opposite side of the floor, and he just got the Lakers in rotation. And that doesn't happen without that pass. And just those little things from Kobe, like, yeah, if your shooting's not going to be there, what else can you bring to the floor? And if he can be somebody that maybe the shooting's not going, if he can be somebody that can make the right read and get these teams in rotation, and helping his teammates get better shots, like that's also a way to stay on the floor too. Yep. So this pass here, you got Kobe in a pick and roll situation with Tony Bradley. Rondo's guarding him. Melo again at small ball 5. Rondo goes over. They're kind of pushing him. They're icing him. They were icing the whole game. I mean, Melo was yelling it loud. Ice. But Melo's in a drop, kind of pushing him towards the baseline here. And what I want viewers that are in here that are looking, just watch what Trevor Reeves is doing here. And that's what, like, I felt like early years, Kobe would only be looking at Tony in Melo. He wouldn't be looking at the backside at all. He would just make that pass every single time. And what Kobe does, he looks at the low man, and because Tony Bradley rolls hard, Trevor's got to step over and show a little bit. And Kobe does a really good job. Live dribble. That's even more tough. Gets it over there and just able to get him get it over to the other side of the floor to give DeMar an opportunity. It ends up getting back to him. But the whole point of that is just, again, like, just looking at the pass from Kobe. If DeMar wanted to be a little bit more aggressive, get to a spot into a pull up, that's stuff that, I mean, again, like you're creating a closeout, and that's what Kobe did with that pass. He created a closeout. DeMar's able to attack it, but Melo honestly does a good job of showing. But that's not all. That's not really what I was talking about. It's more so about Kobe making that read.
Yeah.
And if he can consistently do that, man, I mean, that's a good thing for him going forward.
Yeah, we've seen that progression with him last year to this year, and it's nice to see him kind of continue to be able to make that kind of read. As you mentioned, the live dribble all the way to the corner, that skip passes, that's tough. And Ariza was actually in a pretty decent spot. Like, he wasn't out of position. He wasn't caught ball watch or anything. Right. He was where he needed to be, and Kobe was still able to make that pass to DeMar over in the weak side corner. We've seen that with Zach even this year. I know we talked about that before. Zach,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whenever he does pick and roll with Vooch, in the beginning of the year, he passed to Vooch every single time. He knew exactly where that ball was going. If he was going to pass, he was passing to Vooch. And we've seen Zach start to have a little bit of growth, making some skip passes, making some other reads on the floor. And, the more you can keep a defense unsure of what your next action is going to be, the better your offense is going to be. That's why guys like Luka and Trey and Chris Paul and LaMelo Ball and those guys that are such high, I don't know, they just process those opportunities at such a high level and in real time that it makes it really difficult to defend, because they're looking for any wrinkle in the defense, and they see the wrinkle and they take advantage of it. That's why I think Lonzo is such a great connected piece on the offensive end, because he sees those things kind of as they're coming up, and he finds those angles.
Yep.
That's a rare gift, I think, and talent that most people in the NBA don't have. Even most ball handlers don't have. You got guys like Zach, who isn't naturally talented at that, who has grown as a passer. Same with DeMar, right? And they have learned to make those reads, but it's not instinctual.
Yeah.
And so it's easier to defend when it's not instinctual. And it's much harder to defend guys like Luka and Trey and LaMelo and those guys that can make kind of those just, I don't know, it's they're a step ahead. So it's nice to see Kobe continue to grow that way, because if he wants to continue to be a point guard or have kind of that be in his bag, he's got to expand what he can consistently do in a pick and roll situation as a ball handler.
No, you're totally right, man. Nobody, I'm not saying that, and I'm not saying that you're saying this, but I'm not saying that Kobe is going to turn into some type of savant as a passer. I'm just saying that if he's going to have the ball in his hands, and if his shot's not going to fall, like, what else can he bring to the floor? There are other ways to affect the game, and like I said, if he can be a person that can make the right read most of the time, that can help, as a passer. So this next clip, I kind of wanted to talk about the defense a bit, and I think you said it. You said it like earlier, in just a couple minutes ago, is that the way this defense works. With Vooch being a little bit higher in the drop at the level of the screen, maybe a little bit below it, like that just calls for a lot more rotation, maybe some stunting at ball handlers, and that's just what this defense calls for now. And so I thought this was a really good example of that. So you got Isaiah Thomas bringing the ball up.
It's nice to see him back in the league, by the way.
Yeah, it is, man.
Good to see that man back. Give him a chance.
Lonzo's guarding the ball. You got Melo, small ball 5 again, coming up to set the step up ball screen. And the Bulls again. So you have a Vooch basically at the level of the screen, Lonzo fighting over the screen. So when you have that situation, that calls for Caruso and Javonte, even DeMar, depending on how they talk about playing this offense in the huddle before the game, in practice, when they prepare, depending on how they want to do that. All three of these guys have a role. So in this particular play, Caruso. Caruso is going to be the guy that you see. Vooch shows. Isaiah does a really good job of just kind of getting that ball to Melo. And I mean, Caruso, man, I love watching this dude on defense. Like, there's no misstep with him. As soon as that ball is thrown, boom, he's already there. And he does a good job, because, like, in the NBA, you don't want to leave the strong corner, and especially Wayne Ellington. You don't want to leave Wayne Ellington. He's a sniper. So what Caruso does a really good job of is not coming over all the way, but stunting at the ball handler. And what does that do? Just the stunt makes Melo pick up the ball, and that just kills all momentum of this offensive possession for the Lakers. And, Lonzo gets back and is able to get a hand up on Isaiah's shot, rebound, going the other way. Very simple defensive play here, but it just gets the point across of what they want to do defensively. They want to have Vooch more higher in the drop. Last season, he'd probably be somewhere in the restricted area, maybe a little bit higher than that. Super deep drop, but now they have more at the top of the screen and having more responsibility being on the backside defenders. And I thought that was a really good example of, like, just what the defensive like, you want your defensive possessions to look that easy. You don't want your defensive possession. Like, it's one thing to, like, have your defenders, like, chasing the ball and closing out and making them pass the ball and closing out, but that's still, like, a lot of effort. You would rather have defensive possessions end in this way, where it's not much effort. It's guys just doing what they need to do, grab the rebound, we're going the other way.
Yeah. Well, it's often the defensive possessions where there's very little movement and you don't get guys in rotation. That's your most effective defense. And so here, as you see, just that perfectly timed stunt by Caruso blows up the plate, removes the advantage Melo right here. He's catching the ball in rhythm on his way to the basket. So he can either try to finish over Vooch, or he's kind of got him beat because of how high Vooch is up in the coverage. But Caruso just taking that one step, as you mentioned, makes Melo pick up the ball, because Melo sees him out of the corner of his eye coming. He says, "Oh, strong side." He's going to make that strong side pass. but Caruso's so quick that he's already there. He blows up the play where he can't get to the rim anymore, can't make that pass to strong sides. He's got to kick it back out to Isaiah Thomas, who then takes contested three. So
Yeah.
And that took one stunt by Caruso to blow that whole thing up. And that's why having a couple guys in your team like Lonzo and Caruso, and even guys like Javonte and DJ, have that processing speed on the defensive end to just be in the right position makes the defense so much easier for everyone else. And I can't remember who we were talking to. It may have been either Kevin Farragon or Will Gottlieb, and you can correct me if it's one or the other, but they were looking into the Bulls' pace, and not just the pace that's listed on like the NBA website and advanced stats, but basically how much time the Bulls spend on each offensive possession and each defensive possession. And they found that they were one of the best in the league at they have very short offensive stints, right? Their offense takes very little time to get into to get a good shot. And on defense, they're spending a long time on a defensive possession, which means it's making it very difficult for the opposing players to score on them.
Yeah.
And so in that sense, they have a very, very good pace on both ends. They're making it really hard for offenses to score on them because of how many plays they're blowing up on a 24-second shot clock. And on the offensive end, they're getting into easy offense. They're taking very few seconds to get into their offense. So I don't know if you had any comments on that, but those kind of fundamentals help make those numbers work, make that those offensive and defensive possessions more effective.
Yeah, no, I think those numbers match the eye test as well. Like I feel like that's the way Billy wants to play. Offensively, wants to play fast, get up and down, get quick shots, get quick and open looks, efficient looks, getting the ball to Vooch where he wants the ball, getting the ball to DeMar where he wants the ball, Zach where he wants the ball, and getting some shots up. And defensively, I mean that's what they want to do. You know, they want to fly around athletically, and just play tough and make it tough on the guys on the opposing team's offense. Grab a rebound and go. So I think that matches the eye test.
Okay. Hey, shout out Salim. How you doing, man?
Yo.
Nice to see
you. So this next one, this next one was a fun one, man. Like,
this is good.
This is good stuff from Vooch, man. So the Lakers, I believe it's Isaiah Thomas again. They get a screen, a step-up ball screen from DeAndre Jordan. Once again, this time they're pushing it, they're icing it. And what happens is Vooch is one-on-one with Isaiah Thomas. This is what I like about this, though. Right? You got DeAndre Jordan, running down head of steam. We all know, if he gets a lob, it's probably going down. But like, just if you this might be just the coach in me, okay? But like, this is what I love about Vooch. This is what people don't pay attention to. But like, look at the wingspan out, right? His hands not at his side, his feet are moving, but just having his hands out wide. And what's going to happen is that pass is a lot tougher because his hand is in the passing lane, and it's just all over the place, right? Just having your hands wide in drop, you're low, you're ready to drop your hips and go the other way if you have to, but just having that hand in the in the passing lane, like that stuff is great. Then that leads to a fast break. Caruso, who was playing super tough tonight, getting some and ones and just playing with a lot of swagger tonight. And then you get rewarded with a beautiful Vooch putback, baby. I mean, like that's a beautiful putback from Vooch.
You don't see that too often from him. So
no,
it was nice. He ran the floor. You could see he was running the floor in transition as that trailer, and he was right in position.
Yeah, two hands, boom. LeBron in a poster. Yep. You know what?
I love it.
You don't say.
It is. Hey, King Pookie Nation says, "Hey Chris, I went to that Knicks game at the UC. Or that one was fun. I went to the one after that versus the Jazz when they got the win." He also says he met Aldo
Oh,
Gandia,
nice.
the man behind the curtain, Mr. Aldo Gandia. That's cool, man. That's awesome. Yeah, that was a really fun putback. I loved it. But Vooch, I mean, Isaiah Thomas is quick.
Yeah.
And you saw, as you mentioned, you saw DeAndre Jordan rolling for that lob, which he almost got, but because of the position of Vooch's hands and his activity, made that pass a little bit tougher, kind of put it at his feet instead of in rhythm, and led to the turnover and the putback dunk. So
Yeah, it's probably a bad decision by Isaiah Thomas. I mean, all you gotta do is throw the ball at the rim, but for some reason he threw a bounce pass to a big roll into the basket. But but all in all, still a good job by Vooch.
yeah. Hey, King
um,
Pookie says he was at the Jazz game too. Hey,
ooh,
how did I not see you, man? I was there. Me and Salim were there.
Salim.
Shout out Salim. What a guy. I am hoping to come back for the Cavs game
Mhm.
in February. We'll see with my wife. I'm hoping. We'll see.
That'd be
We'll
great,
see.
man. Hopefully, like everybody be healthy and we'll be able to
Oh my
see
gosh.
Evan
Please, yeah.
Mobley and everybody versus us. Like that'd be fun. That'd be a fun
That'd,
game.
that'd be. Did you, man? I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I didn't get to catch you, man. I was trying to answer people's texts and stuff. Um, but hey, maybe we'll have another opportunity here this year for me to come back out. I know when Larro's going to be more available, and I don't just spring it on him like I did last time. So
Hey man, it's all good. We made it work. So
yeah, hey,
Salim,
yeah, get
Salim,
Ed
big
out
time.
here too.
Um,
Salim says he's trying to get Ed to come out
Ed
for that time.
Shula. Hey, he needs to come out here, man.
That's
Tell him to
right.
come on out here. But this last clip it's a minute long, but it's just a bunch of good activity, a lot of fun stuff going on in this clip, I thought. And it starts out with this out of bounds play that I don't know if anybody pays attention to. Steph talked about it in his article, and he's pointed it out on his timeline before. It This out of bounds play, they run it almost all the time. Where it's 4 flat, and you get that pass over the top here, and Kobe's gonna step in, set that screen for Caruso coming across. They're going to turn the ball here because, first of all, if they can hit Caruso either on a front cut or a rear cut, Lonzo will hit him.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not open. He kind of Wayne Ellington pokes it away. You get a zipper screen from Kobe coming up here. Step up for Lonzo. Vooch roll. That's something. I love how Lonzo like
Yeah,
Zach obviously he makes the right, he hits the Vooch a lot on those rolls, but just the way Lonzo does it, like it's just so smooth. Like it's just boop. Like it's just
yeah.
like I love the way he does it. It's just so smooth, man.
It's just effortless passing.
Yeah.
It's instinctual. He just knows where to put the ball and how to make that pass. It's
In
lovely stuff.
stride. He doesn't have to reach back. It's in stride, right to his hands. But this is what you miss when you don't have Vooch. This is what you miss when Vooch is not on the floor or he's excuse me, out because of COVID. Excuse me. Out because of COVID. Catches it in stride, sees Bron, swings it. I mean, this is good stuff. Caruso didn't get a foul there, which is asinine.
Ridiculous.
But this is what he does, right? He does a good job of. I mean, look at these eyes. When Tony Bradley's there, DJJ is there, you don't get this type of attention, and that's what you get from Vooch. And Vooch does a good job. People. I think I saw somebody message in a group or on the timeline something. Why didn't he take that shot? But I mean, look here, guys. I mean, look what he's going to do. He hits Javonte. Javonte makes the right pass. He gets a closeout. Caruso makes the right play, right? He makes the right play. Should have been a foul. There should have been 2 free throws there. And That's the type of stuff you miss when Vooch is not in the game, really, right? When you get that ball in the middle of the floor, if it's there, obviously he's going to shoot it, but he's not afraid to continue to make the right play. He's going to make the
Yeah.
right pass.
Yeah. Vooch is that guy, man. I mean, he's that high post passer. He's a really good. He's an underrated passer, and his passing opens up so much stuff for us,
Yeah.
as you just illustrated there. But I mean, you saw it on the West Coast trip. Even though we ended up going 3-2, it did not work as well with DJ as in Vooch's spot or Tony Bradley, and they did admirable. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not their skill set. They made the most out of it, I thought. But having Vooch just gives you another option, another great passer who's also a scoring threat inside, and we don't have anyone else like that on that team on this team.
And that's the thing too, man. Like he just makes your offense better because so for instance, like LeBron, let's say for instance, Sean D. Brown was still covering Caruso pretty tightly here. Like just by making that extra pass, he creates a closeout if Javonte wants to be aggressive, right? But still, like, and that type of stuff makes your offense better. When you don't have a Zach LaVine, when you're trying to buy time for DeMar to get rest, like he's the guy that can get you a shot, but he also gets that enough attention to where he can, spray the ball out and create opportunities for his teammates that may not be able to get they don't have their own self-creation juice. But if you're able to get them the ball when they have a closeout coming or an open jump shot, like that's good offense. So it's like that's the stuff you love, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. I also got to shout out Caruso on the offensive end tonight. He had 17, 9, and 2. He shot 6 for 11 from the field, which he's had kind of ups and downs as a shooter.
Yeah,
but overall he's been really solid. But we needed that extra scoring from him tonight. I mean, obviously DeMar just put the team on his back with 38 points.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because LeBron James had 31, 14, and 6 on 11 of 21. And Russ had 20, 29, and 8 on 9 of 19. And, Carmelo made 5 of 12 threes for 21 points. I mean, they had a good shooting night. They shot 51% from the field, 35% from 3, which is pretty good. Bulls shot 43% from the field, 33% from 3, and still managed to win. Now the free throw disparity, Bulls shot 31. 17 of those were DeMar. And the Lakers shot 22. And 11 of those were LeBron James, as usual. But it was just that was a game I think we probably should have lost on most nights. We also got out-rebounded. Not too bad, 46-43. But we had only 20 assists to 25 for the Lakers. We only had we had less possessions or more possessions, but worse shots. I really think what sealed it for this game was the offensive rebounds in that down the stretch there. Yeah. We had a couple of really key offensive rebounds that kept the game alive for us.
No doubt.
Yeah. So I got to go back and rewatch it, but I was kind of following along. King Pookie, I did get a shirt. It was a Tony Kukoc Hall of Fame shirt, which I loved. I have a private Instagram. I don't really do anything basketball related for it, so I don't think it would help. But Salim says DeMar outplayed LeBron and hit the dagger in his mug.
He did, and then he walked. They caught him when he was in the huddle, and he said, "I am him." So he was definitely feeling himself tonight. He was, and he should be.
And he should be.
Yeah.
More power to DeMar. DeMar DeRozan. Someone put on Twitter tonight. Maybe it was Mark K. Is DeMar DeRozan the best free agent acquisition in Bulls history? I think there's. I have to look at the list, but I think there's just on instinct, I would say he's probably in the running, if not
definitely
the
in
best.
the running.
You got Powell, you got Boozer. I'm trying to go back to the 90s. Who did they pick up anyone in free agency in the 90s, or was it just trades?
Rodman? Would Rodman be?
Was Rodman a trade? I can't remember if he came over by trade.
What was he? He said free agent.
Yeah, free agent.
Oh, okay.
Now,
Okay.
technically, DeMar was a trade, but he was a free agent. They just had to do a sign and trade. But
Yeah. No,
I
I
think
think
DeMar might
DeMar
be the
is.
best.
Yeah, DeMar is. Yeah, man. I mean, dude is like probably if he continues to play the way he's been playing, all NBA, probably
He
all
should be.
star.
He should
Like,
be. He better be an all star this year.
yeah.
Hey, and we're only paying him $27 million. What a steal!
Definitely
What a
not playing
steal!
the contract.
Yep.
But no, like, okay, so with the rest of this clip, right? So the rest is this is my last clip. But
Sorry about that.
no,
Long
no, no,
tangent for me.
no, it's all good. It's all good. Content, baby. But this is the type of stuff that you love. Like Javonte Green offensively is just, you know, it's tough. It's tough with him on the offensive end. But when he gives you this type of effort, where it should have been a foul for Caruso, but no call, he hustles his tail back and he just sends this lob
Oh,
pass
I
into
love that.
like
Yes.
that is what you love about Javonte. I mean, that's just effort. That's the stuff that you need to help, type of effort that helps you win ball games. Because NBA usually guys are like, oh, whatever, it's a lob to LeBron. We'll get, no, he's like, look, we're gonna play till the whistle blows, right? So let's go here.
Okay, who's 38? Because it looks like exactly like Lance
Shondi
Stevenson.
Shondi Brown, I believe his name is.
It looks like every time I see him, I think it's Lance Stevenson for like just
Oh,
a half
me
a second.
too. Me too. Me too. But so this play I love because my boy Vooch, so they throw the ball onto LeBron, and I believe is that Isaiah Thomas kind of cuts off of him here. Lonzo
Yeah.
shows a little bit, then he gets off. And then who says my boy ain't no rim protector? Huh? Hey, Vooch is a rim protector, man. Come on now. Okay, he comes over, he helps
Stuff
off of
LeBron.
DJ, and just absolutely stuffs LeBron at the rim and leads to a fast break.
And
And
LeBron immediately starts whining that he got fouled
yep.
every time. Oh man, did you
Hey, and
remember that
that should
play?
have been
Oh yeah, play the end of that. Play the end of that real quick.
like my goodness, I got to see the block again. I just have to. I have to see the block one more time. Just good stuff. Gets over there, boom, meets him at the rim. Caruso grabs it, pushes it to Lonzo. Lonzo back to Caruso. He throws it up, boom, and then the ball bounces off the rim, and Javonte almost literally just
brought the house down with that.
pulverizes. Like, yeah, Madhouse would have been a crazy house.
All right, I got to remind you of this. Do you remember when LeBron made a pass that went off the foot of Rondo, and then I think Melo tried to get it on the way out?
Oh, yes.
And it was called our ball.
Yep.
And then LeBron goes up and gets right in the face of that ref. And the ref immediately changes the call to say it was off the Bulls. And no Bull touched it. Like Lonzo kind of reached for it, but it clearly went off the foot of that Lakers
Russell.
player.
It was Russell. Yep.
It was a Russell.
Yep. It was Russell. They called it a kick. You have to look intentional. It's called an intentional kick. Like you have to literally trying to kick the ball, not.
And no Bulls player's foot was within 10 feet of that play.
No.
Lonzo was reaching with his hand, but his feet were nowhere near that. Anyways, that was just the power of LeBron is ridiculous sometimes.
Yeah,
but I hope you're right. I hope he's slowed down because he's had a nice career. Yeah, that's all I got to say about it. I'm not gonna say anything else.
So for me,
I love the career.
He's slowed down a bit, but he still has the ability to have a three, like Mort was saying. And he has an ability to go on a little stretch where he just dominates, and then he can't consistently hold it like he used to, where he could just maybe go a whole quarter or a whole half. Some games, a whole game, he would dominate, but now it's small stints where you're like, oh, that's that. There he is. That's the King James, So, but no, man. How do you feel tomorrow going against the Rockets? Right, we got the Rockets tomorrow.
We do have the Rockets tomorrow. So last time we played them, I thought we were going to blow them out, and we lost to them. and that led to like a Rockets like 8-game winning streak or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we gave them some sort of confidence to just go and destroy the rest of the league. I know they've been hit with some COVID stuff, but I don't recall who's out. Let me see if they've got it here on the game preview. Injury report: Jalen Green's out. Armani Brooks is day-to-day. Kevin Porter Jr. is out. And then on our side, we got Zach, Alizé, Io, Matt Thomas, Derek Jones Jr. I think we might have more. Isn't TBJ on that too?
Yeah, I think so.
Let me check. It's loading. Yeah, Troy Brown Jr. and Patrick Williams, obviously. Yep. So they're still out with protocols. And man, the Brooklyn Nets, it's like after they got Claxton, Griffin, Day'Ron Sharpe, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Bruce Brown, James Harden, James Johnson, Javon Carter, DeAndre Bembry, LaMarcus Aldridge, Paul Millsap, and Joe Harris are all out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 players.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, man, COVID is wilding this season.
Yep. Playing around.
But ESPN gives us a 60% chance to win that game in a matchup predictor. I don't know. It's coming off back-to-back. It is at home, so they don't have to travel, which is nice. But so far the Rockets have been playing better without Jalen Green in the lineup. You got Şengün action out there.
Mm-hmm.
You got Jaysean Great, as Steve Jones Jr. likes to say. And I mean, there's some good players. The Rockets are fun. Daniel Tice, I think, is out of the rotation. Is he out of the rotation?
Yeah, they had him starting, and now they took him out the starting lineup, and they've been
Christian
playing.
Wood's killing it though.
Yeah, he's playing well. They actually beat the Hawks as well. And
they're playing Gordon, Eric Gordon again.
Yeah,
he's killing it too.
Oh yeah, he's been playing real good ball.
So that's going to be a tough matchup. I think we should have enough to beat them, even with Zach out. I agree with Salim. The Rockets should have taken Mobley. They're stupid, but I don't know. I mean,
it took Şengün, so why not take Mobley? I don't.
I know, but it's early. Like I'm not gonna. I probably shouldn't say anything like that. But Mobley, right now, looks like a generational defensive talent. So we'll see what happens.
So let's see here. They just beat the Pistons. So Christian Wood's coming off a 21-8 game. Eric Gordon 18-5. He went 3 for 4 from 3. Garrison Matthews has been playing well since they gave him, since he got called up.
He was a guy I thought we should have picked up in the Matt Thomas role.
Yeah. You serious? Yes, that would have been nice in that role.
He's the man isn't even signed to a real contract. I think they're trying to trade somebody so that they can bring him on as like a full-time deal, if I remember right. I think that was the reporting.
Man, David Nwaba.
I love
17 minutes. 17 minutes of play at 13, 7 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 assist, 1 block. He went 1 for 3 from 3-point land too. So it's like they're gonna have a rough and tough team coming in here. And one thing that they have they have some bodies they can throw at Vooch. If they want to, they could throw a Garub at him. They could throw Şengün. They can throw Christian Wood. They could just throw different bodies at Vooch. So it should be fun. They're not going to be, I mean, I'd love for them to be a pushover and lay down, but they're not. They're going to come in and the swagger is a little bit high. They got 10 wins in the season. They're ready to hoop, So we got to come ready.
Yeah, that is not going to be an easy game. Even Josh Christopher, he had 10 and 7.
Yeah,
7 assists in the last game. So I know he's coming along as well as a prospect. So
yeah,
it's gonna be a fun game. I know some people have mentioned kind of Christian Wood as a trade target for the Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really on board with that, just because I don't want to do the 2 center thing.
Mm-hmm.
But with Vooch, but
yeah, no.
Garrison Matthews, man, that would have been the guy. That would have been the guy.
There's Garrison Matthews has been playing pretty well, man. Like he shoot the thing. He's just taking advantage of his opportunity, man. It's I just would like this team to stay afloat until Zach gets back. You know, try your best to win the games you need to win. Tonight is probably a game they probably should have lost, but they won it. So let's just win the games you're supposed to win, and see what happens when Zach gets back.
So we got Rockets tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
We got Raptors on Wednesday, also at home.
It's gonna be tough.
And then we don't have a game until the day after Christmas. We play the Pacers, also at home. Now then the next two games are against the Hawks. We got first one on Monday, which is the second night of a back-to-back in Atlanta. So we go from Pacers at home on Sunday to Monday against the Hawks on the road. But Trae Young, I think, just entered protocols as well.
Yeah.
And I think he entered today, if I remember right. Today's the 19th. We play them on the 27th and the 29th. So 29th would be 10 days or maybe 9 days, depending on how they calculate it. So he might be gone for both of those games. He might be out.
Here's the deal. Like, obviously, people are like, yay, like Trae's out. And no doubt, I get it. You want those 2 dubs. But I just want to beat them full strength so bad. Like I you know me since the beginning of the season. Since the beginning of the season,
to stick it to your guys.
I want all smoke of the Hawks. Like I just,
I think Zach's going to be back though for one, if not both of those games.
What did say Billy said? What after
not
Christmas?
Until after Christmas, but yeah. So we've got games on the 26th, the 27th, and the 29th versus the Pacers and Hawks, and then we face the Pacers again on the 31st in Indiana. So
hey, man.
None of those games are going to be easy.
No, I mean, no.
Pacers whooped us last time. So.
Yeah, man. I mean, just battle, and like I said, let's see where you're at when Zach gets back, and once Zach gets back, let's try to get on a run here, get in front of these Nets if we can. Yeah, I'm just ready to see this team get back full strength and make that push. Because I think, like you said, before the season, I don't think we had them being a top 2 seed. So, the fact that the fact that they are this close to being a 1 seed, make the push. Try to make the push and see if you can get a top 2 seed, be number 1. Home court advantage if you can. Like, try to do it. Try to get it done.
Yeah, I agree. Well, it's glad I'm happy to have the Bulls back. It's been kind of weird not having any games.
Yeah.
I've been otherwise occupied, but it's nice to have the Bulls back, and it's nice to be back doing some film breakdown. I missed it a lot. So next Saturday we'll do some more. We'll have some more games to break down, and start bringing on some more guests again. And I don't know. I've been kind of in a funk the last 2 weeks without the Bulls. I feel like the Bulls have had COVID and been out, and I haven't had COVID, but I feel like I've been kind of like taking a little hiatus as well on Twitter and stuff. But it's good to be back. Good to be back. Anything else you want to cover tonight?
I kind of felt like I just want to bring up the fact of Billy. I really feel like Billy has done a damn good job. I like what with the Alfonso McKinney, the way he used him, the way he's been using him, I really thought he used him the right way. Like, Alfonso had some fouls tonight, no doubt, but like the dude worked his tail off tonight, fighting over screens, trying to stay in front, making the right plays if he on offense. Like, the dude, you could just tell, like, when you look at him, like on a dead ball or something, like the dude is hungry. He's trying to make a team, and he's doing whatever whatever is asked of him. But tonight I thought he did a really good job of just really competing all night. Besides that, though, I think Billy's just doing a really good job, man, of keeping this team afloat. playing. He's just been doing a really good job. So I just wanted to really applaud Billy, man.
I agree.
He's like, what more can I say, man? He's been doing a really good job.
Yeah, no, he's been as good or better than I'd hoped this season.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I have no complaints. I mean, I think his rotations have been solid. I think he's putting guys in position to maximize their skill sets. I think, we had some kind of early criticisms of the simplicity of his playbooks
Yeah.
a little bit, but I think he's done better with that. And obviously, the proof is in the pudding. The Bulls are winning.
Yeah.
And the Bulls are probably like 15 spots better on defense than most people would have pegged them.
Yeah.
And I think Billy has a lot to do with that. I mean, he's never had a defense that was worse than 12th.
Yeah.
And, people thought the Bulls defense was going to be like 20 something. And they've been elite so far this season when they're all healthy. So I got no complaints on that.
Yeah.
They've done a great job. And using Vooch in the way that they are, the way that Billy has done, is not something I really thought he would do. I didn't think he'd have him so high up on the level of the screen, but it's paying dividends so far. So I agree with you. Nothing but love for Billy Donovan so far this year in the coaching job he's done
tonight. Like I know, like you said, I know you haven't watched the full game yet, but tonight I thought in the fourth quarter, like I don't know if you saw in the chat, but I was like, is Vooch hurt? Because like I didn't see him out there for a while. I'm like, and I didn't see him on the bench. Like,
oh yeah, I saw that.
Is he hurt? Like, why is he not in the game? But I thought, like in retrospect now, like that was a really good job by him. Like the fact that he was able to buy that much time for Vooch to rest in the fourth quarter, so he can. I'm thinking maybe his thinking was like, we're going to need Vooch the whole rest of the way. So like, I'm going to buy as much time as I can for him to rest. So when he does get in there, it's full go. And I thought that was a great decision by him. The team was, battling back and forth, but he was truly able to get him some real good rest. And I thought that was really good tactic by him tonight. So shout out Billy, man.
By the way, King Pookie, I'm not sure if this is a just beautiful typo or you meant it to say when was the last time we swept the Lakers? I don't know, but yeah, we 2-0 this year. We beat them. The first one was really convincing. Obviously, they didn't have LeBron for that game, but they just destroyed them at home.
Yeah.
And then tonight they had LeBron, but no Anthony Davis, and obviously, got COVID, people out with COVID on both sides.
Yeah.
And hard fought game, but they did it. And as Larro said, Fizdale came with a really nice defensive plan against the Bulls, and it worked pretty well. And I think I heard the Lakers announcers talking about Lakers playing a little bit of zone in the fourth, and DeMar just basically saying, "No thanks, I'll just take this shot."
You can
take
see.
this with you.
Is it good? I'm glad you brought that up because you can see. So like when Rondo was in there, Rondo is so loud when he's on the court, and I love that. But anyway, but you could hear like so they actually were in like a 2-2-1 full court press, right? 2-2-1, and then they fell back to zone, and then you'll hear Rondo, man, go man to man, and then they go man to man, and it was just like they were switching it up so much. They were trying to show different looks to DeMar, and DeMar was just like, nah, I'm gonna take my shots.
There's no defense to DeMar. He just is like, hey, this 16-footer looks nice. Let me just take this real quick. And he either takes a shot over you and makes it, or he makes you think he's gonna take the shot and you end up landing on top of him and he gets his 2 free throws.
Dude, wait till you see this fourth quarter, man. Like
I'm about to watch it.
Some
right
of
now.
These shots, wow.
I'm about to watch it.
The audacity. Like the audacity of some of these shots, man. I was like, whoa. But I don't blame DeMar when supposedly he like FaceTime Zach was like, man, get here, get back
in the game. He said, yeah, Zach makes everything so much easier for him. Which I mean, hey, you got a guy like Zach as your second option when you got DeMar on fire like that. Yeah, it's tough to beat the Bulls. When they get their guys back in full strength and if Vooch is out of the slump, they're gonna be a force, man. And I'm excited to see it. So
yeah.
All right, man. I think that's it for for the evening, I'm going to go rewatch some of this game.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you've got. I don't know what you're doing. You're always watching more film on something. You haven't started watching my show, did you?
Oh my goodness, Wheel of Time. No, I actually got so I actually started watching Succession.
Oh no.
And
All right.
I've been like stuck. I've been stuck on Succession, man.
That's all right.
It started off slow, but it's picked up. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. But I'm definitely gonna watch that show. There's no doubt about that.
I'll keep harassing you until you do, so you be sure about that. I'm
It
just kidding.
happened.
I'm just me and my nerd self are just happy that it it's finally being shown to the rest of the world and outside the bedrooms of a million nerds. But
This dude.
but hey, fantasy's making come. You got Game of Thrones, you got Lord of the Rings, you got The Witcher, you got Wheel of Time now. You got another Lord of the Rings show coming. So hey, fantasy's making a nice little niche in our TVs now. So it's pretty cool to see. It's fun, always fun to see, that kind of stuff make it to the screen. So, anyways, well, we'll let you guys go. Let's see. I saw one more comment. Oh yeah, Larry needs to watch Daredevil. Salim, I was watching Hawkeye too. I was talking to Salim about it because I was kind of disappointed in the first 4 episodes.
Mhm.
And then the 5th one came out. I thought the 5th one was pretty good. It picked up a bit. So the 5th one was much better. And we'll see what happens. But, we got lots of good stuff going on. So,
Yeah, man.
hey, enjoy your Christmas. I know, let's see, our next show is supposed to be on Christmas.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen. Just going to say it now. So maybe we'll try and do it maybe Sunday evening or Monday evening, but we'll let you guys know. We'll send out something later this week. But you guys, if you celebrate Christmas, enjoy your Christmas. Larry, my man, enjoy your holiday.
Man,
And
same to
enjoy
you.
these Bulls games. We'll talk again soon. So for Bulls 101, we are out. See you guys later.
Peace.